Hi, hello. For this session, I thought what I'd do is share a little bit of my story from my book that I wrote last year. Now, the book is called Diving Deep to Climb High. And the reason it's called that is because it's about my journey. It's an autobiography about how, by looking beneath the surface and healing the wounds that were sitting there, I was then able to step into the woman that I know that I am today. So I'm just going to read an extract from it. It's right at the beginning to give you a flavour of what the book's about. And then I may, over a series of videos, just dive a little deeper into some of the chapters. So the introduction starts. Are you attracting negative experiences into your life? Do you feel like you're going round and round in circles, whilst you're watching other women who seem to have it all? From the outside, they've got the nice guy and a successful business, and everything seems to be going from strength to strength for them in every area of their lives. And do you catch yourself thinking, why do I never seem to be able to get a break? Perhaps you've already run a business, and for some reason it just didn't take off. The reason is not because of anything you've done wrong. It's because of your self-worth. Self-worth is something that is a learned behaviour, perhaps because of a challenging childhood or something that's been passed down through your DNA lineage. The only way that you're going to stop these negative life experiences is by doing the internal work. You owe this to your family and mostly yourself to create a life that you truly deserve. Imagine if by doing the internal work, you come out of the other side improved and more successful than you've ever been in life and business. Imagine if by doing the work and diving deep, you discover that you have limiting beliefs that sit beneath the surface that you didn't even know existed. Hundreds of years ago, women were the most powerful force. Men sought us out for our wisdom and healing powers. But then the tables turned, and around the 1600s, witch hunting was at its peak. Men felt threatened by our power and decided that they wanted to rule. A little like all the wars that still happen today, man claiming territory and fighting for supremacy and power. These women, one by one, were persecuted, hung, and drowned because they threatened masculine supremacy. These wounds, limiting beliefs, wounded child stories, and energetic blocks sit in our DNA and past lifetimes, and still today they keep us playing small. Limiting beliefs show up when we don't believe that we can do something, but the mind is very powerful. It limits us from stepping into the woman that we are meant to be. Wounded child stories stem from our childhood, as the name suggests. From this age of 0 to 2, we are sponges, soaking up lots of information in our brand new world. We learn more in those first 2 years than at any other time in our lives. And not just logical brain things. We learn what it is to be human, with the subtle emotional context of interactions with our family unit. The problem comes when we lack positive role models. Energetic blocks are a little more subtle than the previous two. Emotions are energy in motion. When we experience a negative event in life, large or small, if we don't release it within 3 to 6 months, it becomes stuck in our energy. This can then cause dis-ease. If we don't deal with the negative emotion, they may manifest themselves in the short term, or as the years progress, become more intense. When we release this energy, we step into our true calling with ease and grace, and an inner knowing that we're on the right path. For example, imagine that you're on a dating site and every guy you ever meet is just not the right type for you. This was what happened to me. You're energetically attracting a similar type because of your energetic vibration. I talk about this further on in the book, and as lots of coaches say, you just don't know what you don't know. When we have spent all our lives mostly on autopilot, we don't know that there's a better way to live our lives. It's not until you shift the energy and see it from a new perspective that you see how your patterns were playing out. Language has energy, and as that potential suitor reads your online profile, he'll make an informed decision about whether you're a match for him. We make decisions on so many levels, not just visually, but energetically too. And if he had a traumatic past, then you will subliminally attract that to yourself too. It's not until you do the deep transformative work that you'll truly see what you are doing. In this book, I share my story, not just to throw a pity party, not to throw a pity party at all, but that you get a better understanding of how you, as a woman, are conditioned year after year, generation after generation, to be kind, to give, to support, and nurture. Sharing my personal story has helped me heal. When I was in the thick of it, living that life, I had no idea that I was the one that was attracting these situations into my life. I was playing the victim. I talk in more detail about victim level further in the book. I now know that I had to go through these experiences so that I could help other women to heal their wounds. We naturally want to nurture, be giving and be supportive, but so often there's a conditioning placed upon us which goes beyond which nature intended. Too often we women have an expectation placed upon us which results in us being the rock on which others rely on to become successful. This often leaves us questioning our own self-worth and resulting in feelings of unfulfillment and anxiety. You've heard the sayings, don't be bossy. Who do you think you are? Be a good girl. I don't think you deserve that. Know your place. Don't be selfish. You heard all these statements from your parents or primary caregivers, and let's be honest, they were only doing the best they could with what they had. There's no blame or accusation here. Our female ancestors fought for our equal rights so that we and our daughters could have all that we deserve, the same as men have come to accept as God-given right. And even though on the surface we appear to have it all, we're still at a deep level playing small because of the conditioning that sits in our DNA. These beliefs have been passed from one generation to another. By sharing my story, I hope that it will help you to see that it's always an inside job, that what lies beneath the surface is our true self. You may show up on the surface as a confident woman in business, but the real woman is a representation of that little girl that sits beneath the surface and just wants approval and to be loved. We may show up with a big smile, looking confident for all the world to see. But if what lies beneath the surface is the broken little girl, that little girl will always be in the driving seat. Whew. So it feels like that's a beautiful summary of what's in the book. I'm going to put a link to the book if you'd like to buy it for yourself or for someone who you feel is an empath, who's a woman who struggles and seems to be going round and round in circles and not quite able to get to the bottom of what's going on for her. When you hear women say things like, there are no nice men out there, and then we hear the usual retort, which is, you need to love yourself first. It goes much deeper than that. It's about doing the internal work. And of course, if we don't have the tools to be able to do that, then that's where I can help you. So reach out if you'd like some support, or if you'd just simply like to start by reading the book. There's some beautiful tools in there that will help you to start that gorgeous journey of healing. Remember, you are so much more extraordinary than you were meant to believe. Mwah.